Hi there. Happy Friday. It's May 25th, 2018, and I'm Eric, talking at you as always from beautiful downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where, in my opinion, if your long weekend stretches out to the beginning of the next weekend, well, hell, you're just doing something right. Lovely evening in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Want to begin the podcast tonight by wishing our friend Gord Strain a very safe flight to Toronto. Gord is leaving as we speak to take up shop out east as our eastern correspondent for the show. Because we were just getting a little stagnant talking about Vancouver and wondering what our friends and neighbors out east think of us. So every week now, Gord's going to be reporting in for half the show from Toronto. So really excited about that and very thankful to Gord for taking on such a massive undertaking for our humble little show. So thanks, Gord. Safe trip. Look forward to hearing from you next week. Okay, on that note, I want to start by giving you guys all some advice, if I may. If you can do an attempt to impersonate a member of the VPD, I think you should probably go online and maybe research what cops do, or maybe just Google a picture of a cop. And don't drive your Ford Focus to the crime scene when you're trying to get in. And don't tell the person who stops you at the door to call 911, because cops don't do that. And cops don't call themselves cops. It's a derogatory term. If you want information on the man I encountered yesterday morning outside of my friend's building, his profile, a photograph of him, his car, and his license plate, and some interesting editorial remarks by me can be found on our Facebook page at Is It Just Me? Facebook/Is It Just Me? Whatever, you know where it is. Go find it. I also want to tip my hat to our good friends at Freedom Mobile for their excellence in customer service yesterday. Dealing with my friend who came back from Florida, lost her phone on the trip home, and went into Freedom Mobile, where she explained the situation and that she had gotten the insurance to replace the phone for free if such an event happened. And he promptly handed her a business card and told her to call the number at the card and told her to leave. Awesome, except she had just lost her phone, and the best he could do was offer a phone number to get it back. Didn't see the irony in that at all. Way to go, Freedom. And also, I gotta say, I'm really impressed by the way you're always sold out of the phones that cost less than $200. That's a good trick, guys. That's great customer service. Yeah, I can see why nobody wanted to buy Wind. Oh, well, I could complain all night, and I probably will. But we're going to find some more interesting topics right after a little musical break here. Sorry, man. I got an email from iHeartRadio saying I had to do one this week. I haven't done one at all. I think it's supposed to do a minimum of 3 a week to stay on iHeartRadio. Okay. I left the light on while I stayed on that. So I can't believe that we are still talking about this, but huge pipeline news this week. First of all, the Squamish Nation and the City of Vancouver both lost their court hearings and were found to have no basis for stopping Kinder Morgan's development of the twinning of the Kinder Morgan already existing pipeline. So Squamish Nation's out of luck. City of Vancouver's out of luck. City of Burnaby's still trying. And of course, little Johnny Horgan is now in court trying to see if Kinder Morgan needed provincial approval to go ahead with this pipeline. Now, of course, it's already been said time and time again that no, Kinder Morgan does not need any provincial approval to go through with this. It is a federal decision. It is under federal jurisdiction as it crosses provincial boundaries. But he's going to push it anyway and delay. We're at the 25th. That gives us 6 days until Kinder Morgan packs their bags and walks out of here forever, taking all the jobs and development with them and likely any hope of future investment in this province. No other company is going to take this province seriously if Kinder Morgan walks away. And Bill Morneau keeps saying there's investors lined up waiting to take over if Kinder Morgan walks away. Well, guess what? Nobody can find them. Nobody in the investment market is stepping forward to take over this project. If it's not up and running by 2020, it's no longer financially viable. So we have less than 2 years to figure this thing out, or it's just been a giant waste of all of our lives. There's something else I needed to say about that, and I don't remember what. Now, I'm speeding through this subject because, frankly, I'm getting sick of talking about it. But there's so much more going on. I mean, Rachel Notley has now promised that she will shut off oil flowing to British Columbia if we continue to protest this pipeline. I don't think there's any reason that she can't do that. I don't see any legal reason why they have to sell us Alberta oil. They're under no obligation to. It would be a really shitty deal for us if she goes ahead with that, but John Horgan doesn't care. At this point, he's just trying to make a name for himself. This fight has gotten so out of control. I'm really starting to think that they're in it together. And we're going to touch on that a little more next week. I don't want to get too much into it tonight, but if you start looking at things real closely, it's just a little too convenient for the both of them. And being that they're in the same party, it would make perfect sense that this is all just a publicity grab for the NDP. And I would put it past the NDP for doing that. I mean, I volunteered for Carol James and got very close with a lot of the insiders on her campaign. And this is absolutely something they would do. So we're going to look into that with our new conspiracy theorist who is going to be joining the show from time to time. She'll be starting next week with her perspective on this pipeline fiasco. Is it all a big conspiracy to make the NDP famous? You tell us. 604-655-9630 or thechampiontree36@gmail.com. All right, I'm going to break for another song here because I'm enjoying a drink at the art gallery and I want to take a little break. After that, we're going to talk about probably the biggest news of the year, definitely the biggest news of the spring. Prince Harry, once the world's most eligible bachelor, is now married, and to a Canadian. And I don't consider myself a royalist. So. But it was exciting when they came to town. I was about 10 feet away from them. They got off their little float plane, walked right by. Kate looked at me. I got kind of fuzzy inside. It was nice. I'm sure she remembers it too. It was a moment. Now, I may stand to be corrected. I don't know for sure that Meghan Markle is Canadian. It's just what Canada seems to think. And in Canada's opinion, she's Canadian now. Now, whether she is or isn't, really, it doesn't matter because now she's royalty. She's British royalty. They're bringing them in from the outside because they can't keep inbreeding like Grandma Victoria, whose birthday we just celebrated last weekend, who was married to her first cousin. And her father was also her mother's brother, if I remember rightly. Yeah, if it happens in the deep south, it's creepy. But when British royalty do it, it's just the way things go for them. I don't understand how that's acceptable in any way or how these people run our lives. And on that note, the big question I was posing this week was, should these people be running our lives anymore? Should they even be a part of our lives? Does the royal family matter at all to Canada? Is it just me, or should we be separating ourselves completely from them and finally starting our own identity as the sovereign nation that we've been now for 30-some years, almost 40 years? I think it's time to spread our wings, start putting Canadians on our money, start having a different parliamentary system where we don't ask the Queen for permission to do whatever we want. Now, I was actually really kind of shocked yesterday when I did a survey right here in beautiful downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where the overwhelming majority said, yes, we want to keep the monarchy, we like the monarchy, we're very excited, and having this new addition with the Canadian marrying Harry made it all the more relevant to us. And I was shocked. I went 3/4 of the day with just, yes, the Royals matter. Let's keep the Royals. We love the Royals. And then in the last half of the last quarter of the day, tides shifted dramatically. But funny enough, it had nothing to do with the age of the people I was speaking to. Just as many young people were excited about the royal family as the older people, which I wouldn't have expected. And just as many of our parents' generation think we should get rid of them altogether. Not just off our money, but get them out of our lives completely. Which would, of course, mean rewriting our Constitution, replacing the Governor General, changing our entire parliamentary system. It's a bigger undertaking than we think. So, question for the weekend for you guys to write in to thechampiontree38@gmail.com. Who do you think should replace Queen Elizabeth? Should we decide to take her off our money? Which Canadian would you like to see on our bills instead of the lovely Queen Elizabeth? I had an interesting response from someone last night who would like to see a First Nations leader on our money. I thought that was cool. I am blatantly uneducated in how the most significant leaders we can put on. Obviously, there's Chief Dan George, you've got Louis Riel, you've got a few others that come to mind, but I would really like to see, a list of who we could put on. I'd be really interested in that. But I ask everybody, give me your best ideas.